Hi everyone, this is Sakura and welcome back. I'm really excited because today I'm going to be doing my first ever guest interview with a fellow Japanese American creator based in Japan. Please welcome Tanner. So, Tanner is someone that I saw on TikTok originally. He had over 50,000 followers, as well as on Instagram, he has over 30,000 followers as well. And he's currently working on building on his YouTube too. And I just wanted to kind of pick at his brain to learn about his experience being in Japan as a Japanese American like me, as well as kind of hear about his content creation journey. Hi,
Yes,
Tanner.
nice to meet
Yeah,
you.
so nice to meet you. Basically, the conversation is to get to know you.
Mhm,
So I hope you don't feel pressure to like be a certain way or be proper or whatever that is. Like, this is not meant to be anything like that.
mhm.
So, does that sound okay with you?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to rely on your editing for this.
Hello, Tanner.
Hi, Sakura.
Hi. Thank you so much for making the time to speak with me today.
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. Oh,
Yeah,
it sounds like an interview. My bad.
this opportunity, this is not an interview like that, Tanner. Okay. Well, anyway, first, Tanner, I would love if you could just do a quick introduction of yourself because, you can
Mhm,
obviously use my platform to promote yourself too, but I think the
mhm,
audience would love to kind of get to know you a little bit, where you come
mhm,
from, about your content creation journey and whatever
mhm.
else you want to share. So,
All right, so quick introduction. My name is Tanner. I'm born and raised in Hawaii. I'm Japanese American. At college, I think I can talk about more about this later on. By college,
mhm.
I studied Japanese and marketing, but
Oh, I
now
didn't know that. Okay.
yeah, so it kind of has nothing to do with what I want to do as a content creator. So I can
Hmm.
talk more about that later on. Oh yeah, so I currently work full time in Tokyo, and my side hobby or my side hustle
Hmm.
potentially, hopefully, is making
I think that's a
videos
dream
on
for
social
everyone.
media. Yeah, you kind of have to work your way through that, but
Mhm. Got it. And do you want to share a little bit about, what kind of, how do you say, like platforms you use and what you usually talk about in your content?
mhm. So right now I use YouTube and Instagram. I used
Mhm.
to use TikTok, but
I'm gonna ask you about that
yeah.
later, but okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. So yeah, YouTube and Instagram is my main platforms right
Mhm.
now. Before I used to make Japanese language related videos, but I quit, actually deleted that account. And then
Mhm.
I made a new Instagram account, and now it's more like Japan, not like the
Mhm.
language, but like more about Japan. And like on my YouTube, I go to like different places.
So for the icebreaker question, Tanner, I would kind of
Mhm.
love to know, how your experience has been in general in Japan so far, because I know it can be very different for everyone. So very
Mhm.
curious.
Yeah, it's been okay. So if I had to choose, I'm from Hawaii. If I had to choose between Hawaii and Japan, it would probably be Japan.
Mm.
And my reasons might be unique. One of the biggest reasons because I don't like driving. So the fact
Oh,
that you can like
okay.
go around Tokyo without a car and using trains, it's
Okay.
really convenient.
Yeah, the convenience part is huge here.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then no tip, no tip is big for me. I went back to Hawaii recently, and I
Yeah.
noticed how expensive the food is, and
Oh my gosh,
including
I was
tip
just
and
gonna
stuff.
say the same thing. I was
Mhm,
just gonna say we're actually going to Hawaii for
mhm.
a wedding, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, we just booked some hotels, and I'm like, I don't know if we can afford this right now.
Yeah. Another potentially unique reason is because it's okay to be alone sometimes here in Japan.
Mm.
I really appreciate that sometimes when I'm in America, when you're like eating by yourself,
Mhm.
you feel extremely left out. But the fact that it's normal here in Japan, depending on what restaurant, I wouldn't go to
Mhm.
like a super fancy restaurant for couples alone. But if
Right.
there's like ramen restaurants, family restaurants, it's like okay to go by yourself. There's a lot of other people that's going alone as well.
Mhm.
So I don't have to like rely on other people to make my
Mhm.
day good. So that's like another
Mm.
reason why. Yeah,
You sound like a
I like
very
it.
strong, independent person. I really appreciate
No,
that.
it's more like an introvert thing, but
Yeah.
yeah, I like it's nice meeting people. So it
Mhm.
really made me appreciate talking to people because I've
Mm.
been like in this zone where I'm like it's okay for me to be alone, but at the same time, like when I
Mhm.
talk to people, it kind of makes me forget like the stress
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
general, and like I can enjoy talking to people.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm trying to find that good balance between like spending
Mhm.
time alone and like socializing with other
Mhm.
people.
I mean, I think that's a really good point, actually. There's something that
Mhm,
reminds me of when you said, eating at restaurants alone. I
mhm.
love doing that here, and you're
Oh,
totally
really?
right. Yeah,
Mhm,
because I don't even bat an eye, and people don't even care that I do that. But I do agree that
mhm.
if you were in like let's say a nice restaurant, just to enjoy the food at an
Yeah.
American restaurant, people might be like,
Oop.
"Are they okay?
Oop.
Like, are
Yeah,
they
yeah,
really
yeah.
enjoying them?" Kind of thing.
Mhm,
So I can really appreciate that.
mhm,
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that.
mhm,
So there's kind of two main topics that I want to talk to you about today.
mhm.
Obviously, the first one being content creation, and the second one is more about your experience here being Japanese American. Hope that's okay with you. I
Oh,
know
yeah,
it's a
that's
little
perfectly
bit like quite personal thing, but
fine.
obviously feel free to share whatever you want to.
Mhm, yeah,
Um,
will do.
Okay, so kind of going into the content creation topic, I would just first love to know, like, why did you get started? How did you get started?
To summarize everything, this was all random. This wasn't supposed to happen. Like from
Okay.
my personality, I
Mhm,
was not expecting myself. I started 3 years ago. I wasn't
mhm,
expecting myself to do anything similar to this in the
mhm,
future. So thinking back at it, it's like pretty surprising. So before my last semester of college, I
mhm.
was talking to my friend about starting like this Japanese Instagram account,
Okay.
hopefully to make it like a business or something.
Mhm,
It was just like a casual talk. And so we're like, okay, so let's make an Instagram account. And that was called Coconuts Japan. It wasn't
mhm,
even, it has nothing to do with me. And I was making those posts on Canva where you just
mhm.
add like,
I love
it's like a
Canva.
simple like post, like one is ichi, and you
Mm,
put the English letter two. It was
mhm.
it was that. That was my very first post.
Okay.
And then a month later, I showed my face for the first time. I was like
Mm.
extremely
The whole
nervous.
reveal.
Yeah, yeah.
Exciting.
I said 1,000 followers and I'll do a face reveal. I didn't get to
Mhm.
that, and I still did it. I was like,
Okay.
I just wanted to try.
And sorry, this is
Mhm.
you're still doing this with your friend or is this by yourself?
It ended up just me doing it on my own.
Okay.
We tried to do it, but it didn't really work out. And then within 3 months after I started my account, I got
Mhm.
10,000 followers. So I was like, wait,
Wow.
yeah. I was like,
That's insane.
wow, a viral video.
Yeah.
Like your dopamine after you get a viral video was like
Mhm,
insane, right? So I was like, wait, okay, I should, if I have 10,000 followers, I should take
mhm,
this a little bit more seriously.
mhm,
Because it was during COVID and it was remote,
mhm,
I had no motivation to study for my
mhm.
marketing classes. Because of that, I have a question for you. So,
Okay,
what did
sure.
you think my GPA was for my last semester?
I don't know. I've never thought about your GPA
Oh,
before,
okay.
but
So, my freshman, sophomore year's average was about 3.5.
okay, that's great.
Oh, yeah. So, my last semester, like, what did you think it
Oh,
was?
okay. Well, you're preferencing it like that, so I don't know, maybe like a
Yeah.
2.0? I don't know.
It was 2.5, right? So
Okay.
I just it was mostly C's, and I had to beg my teachers uh to get a C in some classes. That's
Mm,
how much I didn't focus on my college classes.
okay.
And I focused on my Instagram account. And
Yeah.
I really don't regret doing that because on Instagram
Mhm.
it's practical. You're actually making the post on your own.
Mm,
So on classes, it was like PowerPoint remote. My teacher was talking for 50 minutes straight. No
yeah.
practical opportunities whatsoever. I did spend money on college, but it was like which one would be more beneficial for me? So
Mhm.
I chose the practical one.
Yeah, and
Mhm,
if I may add something, I also think that we kind of underestimate how difficult that transition must have been because if you're
mhm,
in uni and you're surrounded by your again your community, your friends, your professors and you actually go into class, you feel that maybe connection and maybe that helps with the motivation, but if you're just completely alone in your room
mhm,
having to take these classes that you can't even interact properly with, I think that really probably my guess is, takes a toll on students. So I honestly don't blame you at all. And also, it's funny
mhm.
you say that this is different, but I mean, you could say Instagram is a little bit, on the marketing side that you were studying anyway. So it's more like
Yeah.
practical thing that you can do for yourself. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that's true. I don't want
okay,
to be like that guy, but college for me wasn't the best experience. And for me,
that's all right.
practical application, like
Mhm,
doing stuff on your own without without the pressure of exams and like
mhm,
homework is much better than being forced to take exams, being forced to
mhm.
take notes and just doing essays and stuff.
Okay, got it.
Mhm.
And so you hit your first viral video and you got that little taste of that rush. So
Yeah.
then what happened after that?
Happened after that. So I took it more seriously. I
Mhm,
started making more videos. Then I actually started a TikTok account on top
mhm,
of my Instagram account. One day, my friend who saw me doing my Instagram was like,
mhm,
"Whoa, you're doing this?" And then we started talking. I haven't talked to this guy for like years. He was my
mhm.
soccer senpai in high
Okay.
school. And then he sent me this video of a YouTube editor
Okay.
breaking down a video, like how
Mm.
editing works. For me, I thought YouTube editing is just cutting everything
Mhm.
and just bam, putting sound effects and music and it's done.
Yeah.
But it's completely different. Like there's a lot of
Mm.
psychology in editing, and I've
Mhm,
always liked studying like human behavior for
mhm.
fun. So I was like, wow, YouTube is actually more interesting than I thought.
Okay.
And then I started my YouTube channel,
Okay, got it.
which was around September 2021. So
Okay.
almost 2 years ago.
Almost 2 years ago. Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like time flew by during that
I know
COVID
it
era.
does, right? Yeah.
So the question I wanted to ask though is you
Mhm,
had a lot of success in growing your channel on Instagram and TikTok,
mhm,
and you kind of expressed your interest that okay, YouTube is actually more interesting than you thought. So
mhm,
you, if I'm understanding correctly, you're kind of pivoting your priority towards YouTube now, is that correct?
yeah.
Okay. And how have you found kind of the difference between the platforms? I'm very curious myself because
Mhm,
when I did my TikTok account,
mhm,
honestly, it was really tough because I think TikTok is much faster, right? You need to
mhm,
be producing content pretty much every single day if you want to stay quote unquote on the algorithm.
mhm,
It's really like about snap judgment and about like a very quick experience, right, for the user. So
mhm.
for me, I don't know if it's my age, but I just could not keep up.
Uh-huh.
And so I think that was definitely a learning curve for me that I'm kind of glad that I stopped doing. And then I think I
Mhm,
really do think YouTube is a better match for me. But how have you found kind of that transition to YouTube? You know, what's challenging or what's fun? I would love to
mhm.
know.
So YouTube is probably the hardest platform to grow on, other
Mm,
than Twitch, but that's a little bit different, right? Because that's
mhm,
live streaming. Because it's long before YouTube Shorts was a thing, right? We would people would make long form videos. Those take so long to film and edit compared to
mhm,
short videos. And on top of that, you need to come up with a good idea, title, and thumbnail.
mhm,
So I honestly think it's on a complete different level compared
mm,
to like a short form video.
mhm.
Because a short form video, you only have to focus on making a video good between like 20 to 20 seconds to a minute.
Yeah.
But like on YouTube, you have to focus. It really depends on the video. It could be like
Mm,
2 minutes, 4 minutes. Some people do 20 minutes.
right.
So keeping people's attention that long on YouTube,
Mhm,
especially because of the rise of TikTok, where short form people's attention
mhm.
span has
Yeah,
like
people's attention span is just like out the window, including
crazy.
myself.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think we're all influenced by it. If the first 3 seconds of the video is like,
Mm,
there's people tend to skip it these days.
that's
So we
very
have to
true.
like focus on that.
Mm,
And if you think about it on YouTube, no matter how much editing or no matter how much time you put it into editing, if
mhm,
your title and thumbnail isn't like appealing, they won't
mhm,
click that video you edited on the first place.
mm,
So there's this balance of like making sure your video is engaging while
mhm,
making sure your title and thumbnail is like appealing for people to click,
mm.
because yeah, if they don't click, they won't watch. Hard balance between those two, and on top of that,
Definitely.
editing takes forever.
Yeah, I would agree
Yeah.
too. I think just doing, let's say, like a 5-10 minute video, even if
Mhm,
it's just a sit down talk, which is usually what I do,
mhm,
it's so hard to narrow it all down. And
mhm.
even sometimes I watch my own videos and
Yeah.
I start dozing off, you know, I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. I need to like cut it down much shorter. But I think
Mhm,
you're totally right. And I think for me personally, YouTube is difficult as well because I think that it's harder to grow, like you said, in the sense where you can put in a lot of work,
yeah.
like hours and like tens
Hours,
of
days,
hours,
and
hundreds of
weeks.
hours,
Yeah.
and you cannot get a single view sometimes,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
that's exaggerated, but you know what I mean, right? Whereas
Mhm,
TikTok, I do feel like the short form videos, if you can just grab the first three, seconds
Mhm.
of attention viewer, they will maybe watch for another 10 seconds, right? And then they just scroll. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think that's totally true, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
And then I would love to also ask you about the content itself. So
Mhm.
when I saw you on TikTok,
Yeah.
I think to my to my memory, you were talking a lot about yeah, I guess Japanese language, about like specific words and funny phrases,
Mhm.
and that's kind of what I took your content to be.
Mhm.
So I would love to ask you, has that changed in the creation, or sorry, the content that you're creating now on YouTube? Is it different? And then also, is it a different direction that you're trying to go in? Like, I would just love to kind of hear your thoughts on how your content is going to differ, I guess,
Mm.
now.
Mhm. So I originally started making language account because didn't know what to start off with, and I knew Japanese and English. I was like, why not try it?
Hmm.
So even my TikTok, it was focused on that. My Instagram, my old Instagram account was focused on that. Then I realized that it wasn't really my thing.
Mm.
Like the language niche, the Japanese language niche is kind of competitive,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
definitely.
yeah, and
Hmm.
what's tough about it is I don't think many people talks about this, but you
Hmm.
can't post that much advanced Japanese stuff on an Instagram reel and TikTok
Hmm.
because it's
Hmm.
like impossible to teach something that difficult within 30 seconds. If people
Yeah,
can learn it
totally.
that quickly, then Japanese will become like the easiest language, but it's
Hmm.
clearly not, right?
Right.
So everyone posts beginner level. Well, most people post beginner level Japanese.
Hmm.
Everyone's like kind of like making the same content. So what makes you different from other people
Mm.
is like the editing style. I don't know if I should say this, but you can cut this if you want. But
Oh, I
physical,
don't want to cut this out if you don't
no,
mind.
no. Well, I mean, you can cut this if you want. But physical appearance is also like another factor that I realized.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's controversial at all. I think
Okay.
it's very true that if you're a good-looking person, you're probably going to get more attention. I mean, that's just
Mhm.
how people operate.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as unfair as it is, I do think
Mhm.
that, to
Yeah.
some extent, obviously not all the time, but
Uh-huh.
to some
Yeah.
extent, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then for me, the jealousy kind of got to me because I was making the
Oh,
same type of
okay.
content,
Mm.
but it was also hard for me to be creative there because
Mm.
these people wanted to become teachers. These people wanted students to have like their private lessons with.
Hmm.
But for me, I didn't really have a monetization goal or like a
Right,
goal with
right.
my Instagram account. I just did it just cause.
Hmm.
So then I switched over to vlogs where I can like talk more about myself
Yeah.
rather than the language. And I wanted people to like Japan while liking my
Mm.
personality. So
Hmm.
that's why I switched over to YouTube, and
Okay.
then that's why I switched over to vlogs because it's kind of hard to make vlogs in a short form video
Yeah,
when it's like
definitely.
30 seconds. But YouTube, you can make like 5 to 10 minute vlogs where you can talk more about yourself while showing the view of Japan.
Mhm.
So I went into that direction.
Okay. That totally makes sense. And do you find it more difficult or less difficult to be more, how do you say, like personal on your account? Because I think
Mhm,
one thing that I think content creators, including myself, struggle with is trying to decide what is the line, right? Because
mhm.
as authentic as I want to be and as honest to my audience that I want to be, obviously you're not going to be, showing yourself on the toilet, right? Like that would be
Oh yeah,
stupid.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, like, where is the line? And then once you start, I found that once I started to vlog my life, it
Mhm,
started to become a little too like, okay, I gotta set this up this way and then make things look this way, at least for myself.
mhm,
So I find it still really difficult to find that, boundary
mhm,
between what's real, what's not, and then what's authentic. Still me, but obviously not like this complete unedited raw version of me, right? So
mhm.
do you find that more fun for yourself or like more challenging for yourself? What has that been like?
Yeah, that's true. Like at first I was trying to please the audience by
Mm,
trying to be well this is actually on my Instagram. I used to
mhm.
do skits. Like I had
Okay.
a wig and I would become like a girl. Like
Wait, I haven't seen this. I would love to
please,
see
I,
it.
I really I deleted most of my TikTok videos because
No.
it's like kuroreksha. What is that? It's so bad. It's cringe.
Mm,
I was trying to be funny to everyone and while getting views. I spent so much of my introverted, quiet
mm,
energy trying to be funny on the internet.
mm.
And I think that was also one of the reasons why I quit doing the language account. I was like
Okay.
trying too hard to
Mm,
be funny, but I'm not like that. like the way I'm talking right now is the way I talk in real life.
Mhm.
At first, I was like, oh, I have to raise my voice up or like be a little bit excited. I don't know if you
Mhm.
watch Mr. Beast videos, but I thought I had to be like, oh, like today I'm going to be doing this and that and that.
Mm.
But I was like, okay, that's not myself, and I don't want
Yeah.
to make the same mistake on YouTube as I did on Instagram. So I kind of stopped caring
Mhm.
about
Mhm.
how I sound, and I'm like, if I'm actually sad, like I make videos of me going to different trips,
Mhm.
but it rains every time I have a day off. It's like this curse. If you go to my
That's
channel and
hilarious.
watch many of my trips,
Yeah.
at least
No,
five or
I have
six of them were
noticed
raining.
that.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it rains. I have really bad luck with rain. And I'm not gonna be like, oh, it's okay. I'm gonna try and move on. I'm like, oh
Mhm.
crap, it's actually raining. I try my best to like pretend the camera's not there and then
Yeah.
show how I actually feel.
Mm.
Cause I just want to be relatable as much as possible. Try to be like a normal human being as
Yeah.
possible, and it's just the camera's like there,
Yeah, it
and
just happens to be there kind
yeah,
of
it just
feeling.
happens to be there.
Mm.
Yeah. So if
Okay.
I changed my mindset to that, and it got much better.
Mhm.
But this is leading to another topic. But the more I try on YouTube, the more
Mhm.
like I don't know if I'm feeling like I'm burning out, but
Mm.
I'm getting a little bit hesitant to film outside
Mhm.
because of my confidence. Like maybe I'm like too
Oh.
chill. Maybe I'm
Okay.
like too chill. I have no awareness, but like
Mm.
I'm not motivated to film. I'm motivated to edit, but like filming, I'm
Mm.
like I really don't want to film. I don't know
Okay.
why. It's like I get worried about what people think of me, like
Mhm.
holding my camera, especially in Japan. Like not been
Yeah.
Japan is like very hesitant.
They give you the
Uh,
side eye.
yeah, they give you like the side eye. The old people sometimes gets mad at you because they're not used to this new social media.
Yeah.
Even on news, they blur people's face, right? I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
yeah. So they're very some of them are like sensitive to camera, so I have to like
Mhm.
worry about that. And then I film on my own, so the fact that I'm like talking to my camera in front of like
Right.
other people that are with their friends, I think that's it. Kind of makes me feel a little bit not lonely, but like what am I actually
Self-conscious maybe?
doing? Yeah.
Mm.
Mhm.
But that's, I think, like, completely normal experience. I mean, I have the same, like, idea, you know? I That's
Mhm.
why you never see me filming outside
Oh
because
yeah.
I feel
Mhm.
super awkward, again, talking to
Mhm.
myself, even if
Yeah.
it's just, like, the little snippet for a vlog.
Mhm.
But I completely understand that, and I think that's normal. You don't have to feel bad because I think especially in Japan where, like, you're right, I think people do focus on obviously being a little bit more private. You know, you don't wanna show up in someone's random video, so I
Yeah.
completely understand that too. But yeah, it is difficult, and it also when you say when you film outside, it's very unpredictable what other factors are there, right? Whether it's the
Yeah.
weather
Yeah.
or, noises, there's a lot you have to take into consideration, right?
Yeah, a lot of
Okay,
uncontrollable factors. So
okay.
I'm the type to be completely honest. Like I overthink in everything. Like
Mm,
I get so in Japanese called shinpaisho. I get worried
mm,
easily about everything. So
mhm,
those worries about like what if this happens or like what if I can't
mhm,
film the right thing happens. Like those things like get stuck in my brain and like
mhm,
it creates this wall of me like wanting to actually film. But once I actually film,
mhm,
I probably feel better, but I keep
mm,
forgetting that good feeling I get after I go over that wall. This is another thing. When I go on trips, right?
mhm.
I have a hard time enjoying trips when I have to focus too much on filming.
Right, yeah, that's definitely
Hmm. And
understandable.
you made vlogs too, right? So
Yeah, it's like,
maybe
"Oh,
this
wait,
is
wait, wait, hold on, I gotta get this on my
yeah.
camera," you
You
know?
see that? Yeah, like
Yeah.
I went to Hiroshima in January with my family,
Mhm.
and I was thinking of filming that, making a vlog,
Yeah.
but then I just stopped. Like I was like, never mind, I'm not gonna do this. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try and enjoy this trip. And oh my
Mm.
god, it was so enjoyable. And I
Yeah.
got to relax and like just talk to my family and not worry about a camera.
Mhm.
And then 3 weeks later, I'm pretty sure you saw this video, but I went to Ibaraki and like
Mhm.
nothing good happened most of the time there. It was like great. It was supposed to be this nice scenery of like this cute one car train and like this plantation field and stuff. It was all rain and snow.
Mm.
And I was like, oh crap, what should I do? The film is not going to be good. I went to this other shrine,
Mhm.
nothing. And it was just raining, so I was there for like 10 minutes.
Oh
It
my
took me like
gosh.
an hour to get there just for like a 10-minute rain view.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of would have been bad even if I didn't focus on
Mm.
filming, but the fact that I was like, wait, how am I gonna make a video from this?
Mm.
Uh that like added on to the stress on top of the
It's a lot.
weather. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And I really
so
appreciate how oh, I'm
mhm.
sorry. Go
Oh
ahead.
no, sorry.
I was just gonna say that I really appreciate how you kind of very open about what you just said because
Mhm,
I do think I mean some creators talk about it, but a lot of people don't. They only
mhm,
show obviously the best side of themselves, which is fine.
mhm,
But then you kind of think like when you're making content, I'm like, oh, why do people actually feel this way too? You know? And
mhm,
the part about what you said where not being able to enjoy the experience because you're constantly thinking about how to make that video, right?
mhm,
That is probably one of the hardest things for myself too,
mhm.
because it's I mean, that's actually why I don't have Instagram is
Oh
because
yeah. Mhm,
yeah, I'm such a perfectionist and I'm such a like detail oriented person where if I think, okay, oh, this looks good. Let's say that I'm taking a picture of a food, right? I'm
mhm,
like, okay, this looks good. Okay, I have to do this and that. And it completely just takes you out of the moment to actually
mhm,
enjoy and be present with probably the other person that you're with, or if you're by yourself, like just the actual moment that you want to enjoy.
mhm,
So I think what you did is great though, is if you think, okay, for this trip, I'm not going to vlog because I want to, enjoy it as much as I can. And then for this trip, it's purposely for making a vlog, right? Even if things don't
mhm,
go right, just pushing through and just making sure you get that content. But
mhm,
I do think that's what's difficult is trying to make content out of something that isn't I guess you wouldn't naturally like take a vlog, right? If you're just living
mhm.
your life. That's what
Yeah.
content creators do. But I
Mhm.
totally understand that. I mean, you're not alone in that, you know?
No, that's good to hear. And another
Yeah.
thing about being a creator is that like unless you meet other creators, it's kind of hard to talk about these things
Mhm.
because it's like even if I talk about YouTube to my friends who don't care or who's not making videos, they're not gonna
Mm.
get what I'm talking, right? So it's gonna be like a
Right.
one-way conversation.
Mhm.
But when I talk to like a creator like you, for example, it's like relatable. There's some things I can relate to or you can relate to, and it
Mhm.
kind of makes me feel not good, but like, oh, I'm not the only one who's feeling like
Yeah.
this.
Less
Yeah.
lonely maybe.
Less lonely, less overthinking and be
Mhm.
like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one. So
Yeah.
I shouldn't feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. I'm also
Mhm.
feeling a little bit like, okay, I'm glad that I'm not the only one
Oh yeah.
experiencing this because if you think about it, this is kind of crazy, right? Like
Mhm.
why are we filming our life? It feels very strange when you think about it a little
Mhm.
too much. So, maybe we could
Mhm.
stop that part of the
Yeah.
conversation.
Mhm.
Um, so the last thing I want to talk to you about is, do you have any advice for if somebody would want to start, let's say, social media right now, which a lot of people do, right?
Mhm.
But let's say, maybe they're thinking about it, but they haven't made that leap. Do you
Mhm.
have any advice or encourage words of encouragement for someone who's thinking about it?
So technical side is start with TikTok. TikTok's algorithm was literally made for anyone to like have a chance to grow. That's how
Mm,
they grew this much. And many people probably think like TikTok is one of the easier platforms to grow compared to like Instagram Reels. I think that's because of
mm,
the algorithm.
mm,
So start with TikTok first, just to get
mm-hmm,
started with making videos. And then once you are getting used to making videos and once you know what type of videos you want to make, you can also post on Instagram
mm-hmm,
and then you can also try to make long form videos on YouTube if you want
mm,
this to be like a side hustle because YouTube might be the hardest platform to grow, but it's like the most rewarding one when it comes to
mm-hmm.
monetization. It's hard to
That's very true.
it's hard to make money on short form videos like TikTok
Mm,
or Instagram Reels compared to like YouTube. And then if you this is I'm talking from my experience, but like even if you grind like you can grind on YouTube, but even
mm-hmm,
if it doesn't work out for you, it's not the end because the skills you learn from YouTube can be
mm,
translated to another opportunity. I would like to talk more about this later on once I
mm-hmm.
get this, but might have a chance to work with another creator because I was
Oh, okay.
learning because I was grinding on my YouTube channel and
Yeah.
I guess I gained some skills that
Mhm,
some people noticed. So
mhm.
even if you
That's
can try
awesome.
on YouTube. Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
so much. It's not official yet, so I can't really talk much
Okay, so
about
the
it.
down
Yeah,
low.
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah. Try your best on YouTube. Even if you can't grow on YouTube, the
Mhm,
skills you gain from it can lead to another opportunity.
mhm.
So, and as for encouragement, don't force yourself to make videos. just because for the money opportunity. You have to like genuinely enjoy like
Yeah,
filming,
definitely.
editing, or else you're not gonna be able to continue doing this.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
really
thank you.
appreciate that advice.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to input about this topic is I am such a big fan of your grandpa in your vlogs. He's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm
He's
happy we
funny.
get to see a little slice of him because he's amazing.
I didn't know how funny he was. Well, I
Yeah.
thought he was funny to begin with, but I thought it was just like a family thing. But
Yeah.
people started commenting on my Instagram and YouTube saying, "Oh my god, your grandpa is crazy and it's funny."
He's a mini gold nugget
I
you can
know.
insert into your content.
For real, yeah. Some people are like, make more videos with him. So I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking about it. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah, obviously no pressure
mhm.
at all.
Yeah, for sure. It's a
Okay.
nice, not only I can like make people like laugh, but it's also
Mhm.
like a nice thing to have. Like like he's like 80 something. I don't know
Mhm.
what's gonna happen like in 10, 20 years, but if
Yeah,
something happens, you
exactly.
can always look back and be like, oh, we had a good time together.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
kind of
really
like a
sweet.
yeah, like a what's it
I
called? A
love that.
journal. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, kinda like a video journal, right?
Yeah, video journal.
That's
You can
really
always look
cute.
back at it. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm really excited to see more of your content. And if you're listening to this, I'm obviously going to link Tanner's descriptions for
Thank you.
his handles and stuff all down below. So make sure to check that out, please.
You'll
All
give it a
right.
shot.
So,
Mhm.
yeah. And then the next topic, I guess, final topic is I
Mhm.
want to talk to you about the quote unquote Japanese American experience. I mean, I think when I look at a lot of content creators, we are actually seeing quite a big majority of like Asian creators, which is super awesome.
Mhm.
But I actually don't find a lot of Japanese American folks. I don't know if
Mhm.
we are a minority in general, but
Mhm.
I obviously have an interest in it because I am it myself.
Mhm.
So we'd love to have that little discussion with you, starting off with a question like, what is it like being I guess Japanese American in Japan, and maybe
Mhm.
if that experience differs from when you were in Hawaii, I would just love to kind of have your general kind of discussion on like
Mhm.
what that's like.
Yeah. Nikkei in general
Mm.
is probably, to keep it family friendly, is the most half-butt Japanese in Japan.
What do you
to,
mean
to,
by that? I'm curious.
like you're Japanese, but you're
Mm.
not at the same time in
Mm,
Japan,
mhm,
right? So Hawaii, the definition of Japanese is so simple. If you
mhm,
have Japanese blood, you're
mm.
Japanese. Pretty simple. And if you say you're Japanese, even if you don't 100% look like a
Yeah.
Japanese, you're like, oh, okay, kind of thing, right? So it's very
Mhm.
simple. And then when I came to Japan and I told people I'm Japanese, they were kind of confused,
Mm.
and then I was kind of confused because of that. Yeah, I was like,
I
wait,
totally feel you on that. Yeah.
yeah, right.
Mm.
So after being here for a couple of years, I realized that there's like this rule to be a Japanese in Japan.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's
I'm ready to
three
hear
things,
this.
three things I thought of. This is just my opinion.
Of course.
Number one is that you have to be a native Japanese speaker. If you
Mm.
can't speak Japanese well, they're gonna be like, "Wait, what the heck?" And they're gonna look
Mhm.
at you confused. Number two, you have to look Japanese in a way,
Mm.
because if you don't look Japanese, they'll think you're like half Japanese, half
Yeah.
something else, or like foreigner.
Mhm.
And then number three is that you should know the culture. If you're
Mm.
like Japanese, you wouldn't do things that like annoys other Japanese people, or like bothers other Japanese
It's like
people.
the
Yeah,
kukiyome, right?
yeah,
You gotta
yeah,
be able to
KY, right?
understand
Hmm.
people around you and kinda accommodate to that.
Yeah, yeah, like the non-communication, non-verbal
Mm.
communication is,
Mhm, mhm.
and like reading the context, like how you
Yeah,
said
that's
kukyoyomu is
huge
like,
for
if you
sure.
can't do that, then they'll probably look at you in a different way. I'm not native speaker. I'm not a native Japanese speaker, so I can't. I had a hard time saying that I'm Japanese right now.
Mhm.
I have to say that I'm Japanese American,
Yeah.
and another thing is that some people think American equals Caucasian, right? So if I
Yeah, that's
tell
totally
people,
true as
right?
well.
So I tell them I'm Japanese American, they'll be like, "Oh, you're half? I'm not half."
No, no, no. Wait, wait, wait.
No, yeah, yeah. So I'm like, "Oh crap. Okay, this is an
Mhm.
exaggerated version." But I'm like, "Oh crap. How do I explain myself to these people?" Right? And then
Yeah.
I'm like, "I'm Japanese, but I'm born and raised in America,"
Mhm.
which is technically the definition of Japanese American. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when there's people who actually knows what Nikkei or Japanese American is, I'm like, oh crap, thank you so. I actually say this. I say thank you so much because I have a hard time explaining myself to
Mhm.
people.
Well, thank you for sharing that because I 100,000% resonate with what you said. I
Mhm,
think identity is one of those things that came into question for me as well when I moved, quote unquote, back here, right?
mhm,
Similar to you, I was born in Japan, but I was raised predominantly in the US. So,
mhm.
growing up, I was really proud and also thought I was so Japanese. I ate the
Uh-huh.
Japanese food, I could speak the language, and, I was quite in that bubble for myself while
Mhm,
being completely assimilated to US culture.
mhm.
But, when I came here, I was like, okay, I'm not Japanese apparently.
Oh, oh yeah. Yeah.
And again, I totally understand why. And it's not like I needed people to accept me as fully Japanese because I'm not, it's totally fine. But I
Mhm,
think what was the hardest for me is the expectations of people when they look at you. Like for us, maybe we look Japanese, right? And we can
mhm,
kind of speak Japanese. So for me, for example, when I was working in retail, customer would look at me and then I would not be able
brutal.
to speak proper Keigo at the time. And they'd
Yeah.
be like, what is wrong with you? Like, I don't
Oh, yeah.
understand. And then
Uh-huh.
I'm like, okay, well, I'm Japanese, so I speak Japanese, but then I look Japanese, but I'm also like raised in the States. So, and like you said, the necessity to explain to other people in Japan
Mhm,
that you are not fully Japanese or whatever, that means, right? Like that was
mhm,
quite difficult for me because I could never live up to that expectation of what people wanted from me as a Japanese person.
mhm.
Yeah, so I totally understand that, and thanks for sharing that.
Oh yeah, no
Um,
problem. Mhm.
yeah, and kind of going off of that, I want to ask you if there's anything else that you may have struggled with when you first moved here.
It's kind of hard making friends, isn't it, at
Hmm.
first? So I think that's one thing. And the solution is yeah, reach out and like get out of your comfort zone and
No, but
reach
that's
out.
that's way easier said than done, especially for
Yeah,
introverts. We're like, what do you
yeah.
mean make conversation? What do you mean just
Mhm,
approach someone? I'm like, that is not in
mhm.
my playbook at all.
Yeah. Mhm.
Mm.
Like or go to a bar and talk to someone. Like I
Yeah,
can't
no,
do
no, no.
that. Yeah, yeah. That's like
It's like the worst
I
advice
know.
ever,
For an
for us at
introvert.
least anyway.
Yeah, yeah. For an extrovert, they can go wherever and like talk to people, and
Yeah.
maybe that'll be okay. I didn't go to college in Japan. I went to a university in the States, so there's not. I don't have much like mutual friends. I
Mhm.
do have some friends, and also like because I'm an introvert, this is something I have to fix.
Mhm.
Not fix, but like improve myself. Like
Mm.
you were talking about this in your podcast, but you have to just reach out to people. We're like in this
Yeah.
time where we can't assume that people would like come to me,
Mhm.
right? So like you have to when you're an adult, you have to like reach out to people. And
Mhm.
reaching out to people, at first I was like I was worried I sounded desperate.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I'm like, what if
Right,
they
right,
don't
yeah.
like me? What if they
Right.
hate me?
See, yeah, like
Mm.
I was worried they were gonna be thinking, oh, this guy just has no friends. In reality, maybe this is again like me overthinking about everything.
Mhm.
Like if someone reaches out to me, I don't think like
Exactly,
that.
yeah.
So
Mm.
maybe it's not as bad as you think it is.
Mm.
But yeah, making friends at first it's like hard.
Mhm.
But like because I make videos on social media, I
Yeah.
have actually been able to message and actually meet some of these people in real
Mhm.
life.
That's really
So
awesome. Do you
yeah,
mind
thank
sharing,
you.
like, an example of, yeah, I guess, how you made a
Hmm.
friend or
Hmm.
yeah, I would just love to know, like, how you started your community here.
Hmm. I don't have like a big community, so it's interesting because I talk to people in the Japanese teaching group and also the
Oh, okay.
Japanese like the vloggy group and like
Okay.
people and other small creators like me.
Okay.
And you say you don't have an Instagram account, but I honestly
Mhm.
think Instagram is the easiest way to
I know.
connect with people. I don't know if you know this TikToker named Matcha Samurai. He
Oh, no, I know
basically.
him.
Oh, you
He's
do?
hilarious.
Okay. I saw his Instagram account and I followed him there. Then
Mhm.
I commented in Japanese, hoping that
Oh.
I would stand
Notice?
out because yeah,
Yeah.
everyone else commented in English. I commented in
Global audience,
Japanese.
basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then he followed me. I was like, oh
Oh,
crap.
that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then he responded to my story. So I was like,
Mhm.
oh yay. And then I would talk to him on Zoom, and I made a YouTube video with him asking
Mhm.
questions. And I one day I actually went to his hometown in Japan in
Oh,
Kochi,
wow.
and then I actually met him in real life.
That's so
So
cool.
yeah, it's really cool, right? Like even an introvert, shy person like me can like connect with people
Mhm.
on social media and then meet people in real life.
I think it's interesting you mentioned about social media because I find that it's a little bit less stakes, right? Like, for example, if you were to meet someone at a coffee shop or something,
Oh
like
yeah.
if you approach them, you're like, "Hey, you look cool. Do you want to like hang out?" People will be like, "What the fuck is wrong with
Yeah.
you?" You know.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's quite low stakes to be able to send like a quick message, and especially like you said, for yourself,
Mhm.
you've been able to reach out to fellow creators, which obviously already are in your space, right? You
Mhm.
guys kind of know about the same things and can understand each other. So I think that's definitely a smart way to go about it because for me, I think I predominantly made friends through work.
Mm.
I don't think a lot of people do that just because, you shouldn't really mix maybe your personal and work life. But I was
Mhm.
lucky enough to just have colleagues that I really just enjoyed in general as people.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I really like that you said you do have to take the initiative because that's what I found really hard but very necessary in order to make friends here. So the last question I have for you is I would love to know what kind of experiences you found to be really awesome or unique and interesting in Japan. I know there's a lot, but
Mhm.
anything that really sticks out in your mind because you mentioned that in your content you want people to watch it and think Japan is really amazing, and I love that. So any like last inspiration I would love to hear.
This is not the flashiest answer, but for me, what made Japan different from like Hawaii is the fact that you can do so many things in
Mm.
a day
Mhm.
and how convenient it is. It's not like the once again, it's not the flashiest answer, but that to me makes a big difference. So in Japan, you can go to like one area like Shinjuku and go
Yeah.
around, and then maybe at night you can go to Shibuya and like enjoy the view at Shibuya Sky or whatever, the
Mhm.
Scramble Square or whatever. There's like so many things you can do in a day.
Mm.
That's one thing I really like.
Mhm. And where
But
have you
yeah.
oh,
Mhm.
sorry.
Oh no, I keep saying but like I have no idea.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Do you care to share any specific locations or places that you've been that you really loved, like either recently or just in general?
Can I change my answer? I
Oh, yeah.
right when you said that, I'm like, wait, there's one thing I like that not many
Okay.
people like. So
Please go ahead.
Japan, there's in Tokyo, there's so many people, so I like going to the rural areas, like in Saitama.
Mhm.
And I
I've
went
noticed that in
to
your vlogs.
yeah. I don't. I think a lot of people makes videos of Shinjuku, Shibuya, and Harajuku. So I think me making a video won't make a big difference because it's gonna be kind of similar.
Mhm.
Because of my introverted personality and I don't like the crowds, I
Yeah.
usually go away and then go to like mountains. I like this gap in
Mhm.
Tokyo. Even in Tokyo, this is place where there's a lot of people, but at the same time, there's this place where you can actually like hike and just relax on your own
Mhm.
and enjoy a good mountain view. And it's very accessible. It takes
Mhm.
around an hour or two from a train. Give myself like a mental break, and that's
Mm.
been really big for me. So for me, I don't like the super drinking culture where you just
Mhm.
drink just to drink.
Yeah.
But one thing I do appreciate about Japan is like the izakaya culture where you can like
Yeah, it's really nice.
yeah, like when you enjoy the vibe rather
Mhm.
than like the drinks and the alcohol,
Mhm.
it's like easy to talk, easy to like get along with people. That's one
Mm.
thing I really appreciate because that's sometimes easy to get along with people compared to like a super fancy cafe in Japan.
Definitely.
That makes me feel extremely nervous. Like there's a lot of
Mm.
fancy cafes here. Oh, that's one thing. Sorry, cafes here are cool.
They're
It's
amazing. There's so many. And
so
then
many.
there's so many different types, I feel like.
Mhm. Super small like coffee areas
Mhm.
like the kisaten. I don't know how to
Mhm.
say that in English, but and then there's like these super like fancy looking ones is the ones where you can enjoy with the terrace like the outside seats,
Yeah.
and there's like so many of them, and the fact that I can like spend my time like just doing stuff on my computer while enjoying the vibe and the good
Mhm.
desserts and stuff. That's another thing I really like too.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Tanner, for
Yeah,
all of, everything that you shared with me today. I'm actually
yeah,
quite excited that we got to connect and hear about your
mhm.
experience because If you're listening to this, me and Tan have actually never met in real life. I saw him first on TikTok, and we've been
Yeah.
kind of going back and forth on different platforms.
Mhm.
But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Yeah.
And again, just going to reiterate that I'm going to leave Tanner's details down below in case you are very interested in learning about the content that he's creating. Please make sure to give it a like and a follow. I'll see you all in the next video and or podcast episode. All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank
Bye.
you.